Okay, it is Thursday, July 25th, and make no mistake about it, Harris is now the Democratic nominee for two reasons. Number two, being that in roughly around 36 hours, she was donated over $100 million, which you can be guaranteed was no accident. And number one, I think I got a screenshot. She's got something like over 3,000 of the 4,000 delegates voted towards the Democratic Party, so she's in. Obviously, this was all planned. This was all staged. Get Biden nominated, then have brain dead or whatever Biden get booted out, and we have to remove. I don't think they could do it. Like I said, I think in my last video, they could have Biden suddenly say, or his shrink or whatever, say he's not cognitive, he can't do it no more. So move Harris up to president, but that wouldn't really change anything. And I'm going to show a couple clips of all these the women Democrats. You watch these fucking women; they are seriously Twitter pated. I mean, they're giddy and wetting their pants all over Harris. And of course, the way this lame country works, like with Obama, you got a bunch of people to vote for him just because he was black. So now you're going to get a bunch of people to vote for Harris because she's half black and because she's a woman. I mean, the way this country is just fucking completely lame or stupid. But I had been Googling since yesterday trying to find out where Harris has stood in years past on the whole Israeli thing. Obviously, her husband's Jewish. I could not find a damn thing prior to 2019 when she was already in the Senate and being chosen by the agenda on the Democratic side to be the vice president. And her stance has always been the same and is playing that game. She's pro-Israel but wants them to be nicer to civilians about it over there in Palestine. But either way it goes, no matter what president we get up there, they're all pro-Israel. They're all supported by Israel. They all have Israel in their cabinets. I mean, that's just the way it fucking is. But finally, something came out just about an hour ago. So let's see what VP Harris had to say about what's going on with the Jewish stuff. VP Harris finally reacts to D.C. violence hours after flag burning by anti-Israel agitators. It's never just peace-wanting people. It's not just people not wanting Palestinians, as we all know, keep from being wiped out. Oh, shit, pause here. The presumptive Democratic nominee released a statement protesting against Netanyahu. Yesterday at Union Station, we saw despicable acts by unpatriotic protesters and dangerous hate-fueled rhetoric. So you're unpatriotic if you're against Israel or in favor of Palestine or just want peace. This is directly related to remember when Bush did that? If you're not for us, you're against us, you're with the terrorists. And it's all hate-fueled rhetoric. I condemn individuals associating with the brutal terrorist organization Hamas. I know, we all know how this works. Hamas is trying to defend Palestine, so they're insurgents, they're terrorists, just like when the U.S. invaded Iraq and Afghanistan and anywhere else we've gone. They spray-painted monuments, pulled down American flags, and burned them. Oh, no. Are we going to get laws against flag burning? Pause here. Last little quote from her. She explicitly condemned the multiple protest signs seen and the riot. They're not riots. Come on, give me a break. Maybe man of mine. Anyway, pro-Hamas graffiti and rhetoric is abhorrent. We must not tolerate it in our nation. Let me pause here. And again, just real quick, 20 seconds for anybody that flies by my channel. Yes, we are all under the New World Order agenda. But yes, I guarantee you, I promise you, if you would wake up and look at what's going on between the left and right, you will see that there are two warring parties in the New World Order. One is a Democrat, one's a Republican. And obviously, by what we've seen Trump do and not do, he's part of it. But let me pause here again. Okay, let's watch these female dams get all Twitter-pated over here.
Reproductive freedom across this country. The Democratic women of the House offer our proud, full-throated endorsement of her campaign for President of the United States.
Freedom!
That's right.
Hashtag full-throated.
Kamala Harris sees us. She has a vision for the future that includes everyone and reflects the needs and priorities of women from every corner of this country. She has a vision of freedom and dignity and opportunity.
Blah, blah, blah. One more clip. Now, I don't know who this lady is, but let's listen to this horseshit.
Tomorrow morning in Los Angeles, there will be this great outpouring of individuals supporting Kamala. We know her. I've known her for years. We know that she's confident, she's capable, she's had a career that leads her right to this moment. This is transformative for America. What we're seeing now is someone who's going to help unify this country, someone who is at the right time, at the right place to do the right things, having not only had a career that led her here, but she had a partner in Biden. I love Biden, and I did not endorse a woman of color, and it threw everybody into a new kind of possibility that could happen in this country.
A woman of color, ordained. I'm surprised you didn't throw in there ordained by God. Let's pause here and get on to what really matters. Now, let's listen to this broad from Fox as she's talking about the protesters.
Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu's high-stakes address to Congress is coming up. They are in place, and we have seen it all over the country. The Jewish and Israel hate.
The hate.
In America. And they brought in a couple hundred from maybe different municipalities, but I can tell you specifically 200 police officers from New York's finest. They are ready for whatever could pop off. We know that sometimes the protests can be raucous, sometimes they can be violent. We don't know exactly.
What about the protests that have been in favor of what Fox and Trump promotes or CNN and Biden promotes? Yeah, we get it. I know. Let's go.
Who's in this crowd? We know some of them by the T-shirts they're wearing. We know the signage. They hate Jewish Americans. They hate Israelis. They hate.
Well, I don't. Do you see any signs up there that say they hate Jews? How about peace or let's not annihilate the Palestinians? I mean, we all get this, but
hate Jews. At least 30 Democrats are going to boycott the speech by the Prime Minister of Israel.
Oh, I think that might be it.
Is not going to be there among the senators.
Oh, yeah, this is, like I think I said in the beginning, she's pretending to be a little bit or fudge up against Israel, but we know. Okay, this is some sort of Jewish website. We have anti-Semitism, so I decided to look up pro-Semitism. What do we got here? We've had enough. It's time for pro-Semitism. Let's begin with, there's absolutely nothing funny about anti-Semitism. It should never be a topic of humor. That is some absolute rule with no... Oh, that carries on over here. It should never be a topic of a humor article. There is an absolute rule with no exceptions and is completely non-negotiable. That said, if it's true that anti-Semitism is verboten in humor, then what about the opposite, pro-Semitism? Should it be permitted or even encouraged? You will not find it in the dictionary like you will find anti-Semitism. Go on towards the bottom, friendly support for Jews or religion. That's the definition of pro-Semitism. But what you will find in Wikipedia is that fucking dude's it's something like philo-Semitism, described as an interest in Jewish and oh, these fucking people are hilarious. Pause here. What's been on Fox News on TV this morning? They're doing a thing to condemn Harris over handling the border. This is just advertising for Trump's anti-border or anti-illegal stuff. That's what they're doing. This is just free politicking. Oh, I don't watch other people's channels for large part. This was on the news this morning. Jose Cuervo tequila. Was that yesterday? Anyway, their tequila plant blew up in Mexico, killed at least 5 workers. What do we got here? It impacted almost 58,000 gallon tequila vats. Is this the New World Order trying to stop supplies? Fuck. Pause here. I saw this on the news, so I Googled it. U.S. intercepts Russian Chinese bombers off Alaskan coast. This was updated the 24th, so I had to go down. This actually happened on the 24th. Pause here. Okay, the other one was Russia intercepting our bombers. So Russian and Chinese bombers intercepted off of Alaska. And when did this happen? I think I got to go to my other page. This happened on. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Let me pause here. Okay, so before we intercepted theirs, before that, July 21st, the Russian fighters accepted B-52s that were flying, 2 of them flying, so we did it first. But they don't like to say that. You got to go look for that kind of shit. But we know how they play the game, so pause here. Oh, this is a must. How come they have not called that dude a lone wolf? I mean, this is a prime example of a lone wolf terrorist trying to kill Trump, and not one fucking mention of it. And of course, they throw in a Nazi flag. I don't know if you're supposed to have had that, or they just threw that in there. Now that must be something else as a U-Haul. Yeah, fucking talk about propaganda. Oh, never mind. I'm brain farting. This has nothing to do with what's his face that shot at Trump. They're just throwing in the Nazi flag to influence people that look at the picture. But why wasn't dude labeled a lone wolf? I mean, perfect example. Okay, now the important shit going on around the world. At least 229 dead in Ethiopia after rain caused mudslides. And the other ever important stuff that most of us should know about, but they will not put on mainstream media. Climate change will continue. In other words, geoengineering. In other words, chemtrailing. Hurricanes stronger, more intense, along with the ocean. Atmospheric rivers, they coined that some X amount of years ago. Global temperatures will continue to rise. We see that every year, 1 to 3 to 5 degrees to 10 on setting daily records. And most of the people don't believe this, but the Arctic is melting away. And like it says, soon it will be ice-free, or maybe you'll have enough to throw in your cooler. Oh, and this, of course, applies to both sides. Jen Psaki, I think you pronounce it, on Biden's historic Oval Office. What struck Jen Psaki on Biden's historic Oval Office speech on stepping aside, everybody knows, both their speechwriters know, both sides know, but they will not ever mention it. Biden doesn't say this, Trump doesn't say this, Bush doesn't say it, Obama doesn't say it. They all have speechwriters. Why doesn't, they're bragging about his speech, why doesn't the Fox Trump side of this say, well, he's got writers, he didn't write a fucking thing. Why? Because they both do the same thing. Okay, as I said, since I recently, 4 months ago, came here to my sister in Silverdale after 4 years of homeless in Denver, I still check the news there. Denver had the worst air quality on Tuesday. This is July 23rd. So I pulled up a smoke map. And that's the smoke, which, look at all that. They say is primarily, claim it's primarily coming from the Canada fires. But look at that. They're not talking about this on the mainstream news that I've seen. Maybe local news, no idea, but they don't mention it here. Because right now in the Seattle area, we're being spared the worst of it. Now, again, why are they blaming Canada? Those brighter, bigger orange ones aren't because they're in the U.S., it's because that's the larger fires. So why are they blaming Canada for all of that? Pause here. Oh, part of the agreement with Boeing is this dude, Calhoun, was forced to retire early. Too bad he's only worth $58 million. They said he might get a lower retirement bonus because of the bullshit they're settling on. They got to pay something like $2 billion, $500 million to the survivors of those 2 plane crashes, and something like $1.7 billion they have to invest in their own companies. Oh, that's another thing that's lame about this country. You'll never see any head of anything prosecuted like you do in some other countries when shit like this happens, because from these guys all the way up to the tippy top in Washington, got to protect the big guys. Oh, in case somebody might have thought it's more hatred against Trump, why did I mention this a couple of videos ago and say I'm going to go guarded to elevated under Trump? Is because if the power struggle works out on Trump's end, things will speed up. There's bad shit and so-called positive and bad both sides. I mean, I get the fucking game. That's the way it's supposed to be. But still, there's a power struggle in the New World Order. But shit will quickly expedite underneath Trump. But some of it's necessary because of the, the shortening of food and soil that's worth it, and water that's drinkable, and the air, and obviously all the animal and the produce and all that, as we get shortened on products as the planet dies. Up real quick, 3 quotes from Netanyahu. Axis of terror confronts U.S. and Israel. Axis, is that like anything linear, like axis of evil, and the God dang it, what was the weapons that they were pushed in Iraq? Oh, fuck, I don't remember. Weapons of mass destruction. Netanyahu, clash between barbarism and civilization as they annihilate a country, not a terrorist organization. We are at a crossroads in history. You got to keep sucking in the people, and no matter who you get, nowhere, as we all know, you do not get to be president, vice president, secretary of state, or none of that people unless you are pro-Israel.